Hey everyone, one of the questions I get asked the most is if you need a degree to become a software developer and the benefits that a degree is going to give you when entering the job market, right? So the short answer to this question is no, I don't think you do need a degree to become a software developer, especially now in 2021. But the real answer is, really depends on where you are in life and what your situation is. Right? So if you're new to the channel, my name is John Vine. What we talk about here is I try to use my experience. I try to give you guys some tips on how to become a software developer and achieve your guys' goals of becoming a software developer, working full time and either transitioning your career or just starting it as your first career. So if you like the content, feel free to like and subscribe. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So some backstory. Myself, I graduated from a university and I got a degree in computer science. I went the more traditional route. Now, this is because, I was in high school. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I kind of thought coding was pretty cool. I had never done it before. And then I figured this is the best way for me to learn. And I would still recommend today, if you're in high school, that you should probably go to university or college and get a degree. Just because, I think it's a great way to learn. You're young in your life. You don't have anything else going on. It's not like you have a full-time job or kids or stuff like that. So you can take the time and spend a couple of years learning the foundations and then kind of transitioning to becoming a full-time developer. And also because universities kind of give you some great resources in terms of getting a job. The university that I went to in Canada at the University of Waterloo had great resources, in terms of getting internships and even afterwards getting full-time jobs when you're out of college. So because I went to university, I can't really speak that much for, boot camps or, being a self-taught developer. That being said, a lot of the developers that I've worked with in my career haven't had degrees in computer science specifically, right? A lot of them have gotten degrees in something else and then used their degree to kind of, gain some experience at a company before, figuring out what kind of skills they need and what kind of things they need to learn to transition to a development position. Either that or they have a degree in something else and then, they don't really want to commit to 3 or 4 years, I don't know, maybe 2 years, I don't know how long certain degrees are, but they don't want to commit to a couple of years studying to get another degree just because, they wanted to program. So at that point, if you're, already working in the workforce, you have a degree, they opted for going to a boot camp. Now, I've worked with a number of developers that have gone to boot camps, and honestly, guys, you cannot tell the difference. Like, these people that I've worked with were all like very competent, very good developers, and the things you learn at a boot camp are obviously like really good and really relevant to the workforce. So another thing that I also realized is that a lot of the people that I worked with that had degrees in computer science now were working as software engineers, a lot of them were younger, and this is kind of for the same reason, right? Because I think when you're hiring someone fresh out of university or just someone younger in general, you really don't want to hire someone with no experience, with no degree, right? So usually the people that you're going to hire that are younger are probably going to have not that much experience, but they will have a degree, which will give them that edge and kind of let companies give them a chance. Now the people that I realized that were older, a lot of them did have degrees, but they weren't in computer science. So what they did was kind of spent a couple of years at a company and then kind of, got experience in tech and then kind of, like I said before, figured out, reached out to recruiting or hiring and figured out, okay, what kind of skills do I need to learn or what kind of things do I have to know to transition to become a full-time developer? And guys, this is kind of what I would recommend. If you're right now working full-time in a certain tech role and you really think that you can succeed as a software engineer and you want to try programming, right? I really wouldn't recommend getting a degree at this point because I don't think it would be as worth it as, maybe going to a boot camp or teaching yourself. What I would recommend is, like I said before, figure out what kind of skills you need to learn and what kind of things you need to know to succeed in a certain position, right? So this can be achieved by either one, if you have a hiring department in your company, you can ask them, what kind of things are they looking for in interviews? What kind of things are they looking for with their new developers? And then kind of trying to gain those skills yourself. Or if you think that you can't do that yourself, then I would opt for a boot camp, which is like a shorter way that you can work part-time and learn how to code too, which is probably what I would do if I was in that position. Now, to start transitioning, right? If you decided, okay, I want to become a software developer, right now you're working at as a different job, but you really want to become a software developer, what I would do is start, dipping your toes in programming. Start working on maybe a personal project just to see if you actually enjoy coding. If you actually like it, then you can see if you're good at it and if you can actually, succeed in this position. But if you're going to try and learn how to code and then realize that you really don't like it, then maybe, another position is for you. or you know, you could just grind it out. Maybe a lot of people just become developers just for the money. Like, you know, you can do that too, although I wouldn't recommend that. But I would definitely, you know, start working on some personal projects. You know, I've said it many times before, the best way to learn is to make side projects, right? So the first thing I would do is, you know, kind of start just working on a small personal project, getting the feel for programming, and then realizing, okay, you know, if at that point you're actually having a good time, you're enjoying yourself, and you see a future for you in your career in development, then I would, you know, go one step further. And at this point, you know, you would kind of want to figure out what kind of engineer you want to be, right? There's a lot of different things you can do with coding. You can be a full stack developer. You can be just a front end developer. You can be a web developer. You can be a mobile developer, you know, iOS or Android, and kind of figure out what kind of things you need to learn, right? So maybe for a front end developer, you'd have to learn stuff like React or JavaScript. Maybe for a full stack developer, things like Python or C#. And also things like, you know, JavaScript for the front end. If you want to be a mobile developer, you know, Java or Kotlin for Android. You can, you know, learn Swift or React Native for iOS development. And so, you know, there's a lot of different things that you can concentrate your focus on when you're learning to become a developer. So one of the things I would recommend, you know, if you decided, okay, I want to transition and become a software developer, one of the first things you need to do is figure out what kind of engineer you want to be. And then once you know what engineer you want to be, what I would do is work on my programming skills. And then when you think you're ready, what I would do is, you know, go to job postings, kind of figure out the job that you want, and then, you know, look at their requirements and try to kind of find a pattern of what all companies are looking for the job position that you're going for, right? So if you look at a ton of positions for full stack developers, and a lot of them are saying, you know, you need Python and JavaScript, right? So you kind of want to focus your skills on that and kind of learn those too. So using other job postings is really going to help you get a feel for what kind of skills you need to know to succeed in that position, right? Now, at this point, you can also start applying and kind of going through interviews if you're lucky enough to get one. That, because I think that, you know, as soon as you can start doing interviews, the sooner you can practice your technical interview skills and kind of start, you know, being more confident in interviews. So all these things should kind of give you the skill sets that you need to succeed, and then kind of transition into becoming that software developer that you want to be, right? So you don't necessarily have to get a computer science degree, guys, especially if you're in, you know, already in the workforce and that you're working full time and you just want to transition positions. I wouldn't recommend at that point getting a degree, but like I said before, guys, I would recommend if you're in high school right now, I think one of the best things you can do if you're really, really interested in programming, I would definitely go to university, get a degree in computer science, and then, you know, go forward from there. I think you won't have a hard time finding a job after that. Definitely not. And like I said before, universities offer a ton of resources for new grads and for current students, you know, in terms of finding internships and for finding jobs. You know, at certain times there was job fairs at my university where they're handing jobs away. You know, they really wanted, you know, young, excited, passionate developers. And if you can, you know, have that kind of great attitude, then you won't have trouble finding a job at all. So guys, yeah, that's basically it. You don't really need a degree to get a job to become. So guys, that's basically it. You don't really need a degree to become a software developer these days. But if you're in high school, I would definitely do it. But, you know, a boot camp or teaching yourself with the amount of resources online available, there's no reason why you can't do that and succeed, right? There's people in third world countries, like I said before, learning how to code, right? If you have the passion, if you have the dedication, you will have no trouble in learning how to code. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like the content, feel free to like and subscribe. If you think there's anything I missed, or you disagree with, or you agree with, or you just have something you want to add, feel free to leave a comment down below. And as always, guys, enjoy your coding and take it easy.